Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Steve Shanley, back for another visit for the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band, which is on the downhill side of your concert season already. It's, if you're anything like me, and like most of us, I suspect that after Independence Day, then all of a sudden, even though it is still the middle of summer, you start thinking about the end of summer.
The summer end is coming up quickly. And yes, we are into the final third of our season and had a great season so far. Very much enjoyed the new venue at Kingston Yard and have had some great crowds. Really like the new location at Ellis Park as well. It's been a good season and it's going by fast.
And this is week 6 and another special event related to the 250th anniversary of the United States.
There is, yeah. I'm kind of most excited, I think, for this program this summer. It ended up being kind of a unique thing that evolved very gradually over the last couple of months. I was not aware until Maryland Lodge sent me an email this spring that July 8th, that's when the real fans of the Declaration of Independence celebrate. They liked the Declaration of Independence before it became cool.
That's right.
They were Pearl Jam fans early.
I know this.
You know this.
Because my birthday is on July 8th. And when you're young and you look up, well, you know, who do I share a birthday? What happened on? And it was, July 8th, the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. So I have always known this.
Yes. So I learned this in the spring when Maryland Lodge emailed and asked if we might consider on our concert on July 8th having a reading of the Declaration of Independence. And as you and the frequent listeners to this know, pretty much every good idea that I have for one of my concerts is an idea that someone gave to me and I said yes to. And I thought, this will be great. And so, yes, we're going to have a reading of the Declaration of Independence, and the entire program has turned into a celebration of the Declaration of Independence. And there's so many great pieces of music that can be tied into the Revolutionary War and American history and patriotism. And really, like last week at our normal patriotic concert, we just don't really have time for those. You have to play the Stars and Stripes Forever. You got to play the Battle Hymn of the Republic. You got to play America the Beautiful.
And the service hymns.
And the service hymns and all of that. And so usually most years I got room for, kind of one new piece that isn't part of the sort of standard that we have to do every year that everyone expects of us. So this ended up being kind of a great way to do that. And also 250 years, I feel like it's okay to maybe extend the patriotic celebration into 2 weeks this year. So yes, we have a reading of the Declaration of Independence, and I actually have a favor to ask of you because we have David Mayer lined up for our Wednesday reading, and he has been able to commit to that. But as you know, I like to do the same program both nights. So I was wondering if you might be able to join us for Sunday. You do not have to have it memorized. I did just
thank
look.
God for that.
It's pretty long, and it has some words that we don't really use anymore. So you might have to look up some pronunciation. But
it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 or 2,000 words,
yes,
or something like that. It is not as short a document as you think, and all the S's are F's.
Oh, really?
That's how they wrote them back then. So hopefully I can find a converter tool.
Yes. So we would love it if you would join us at Ellis Park on Sunday and do the reading.
The last time somebody asked me for a favor on the air, I ended up co-hosting Channel 9's Everyday Iowa.
Okay. Well, this should be less of a time commitment, hopefully, than that when it's all said and done.
Well, that sounds like fun. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. And so the other stuff that we have on the docket, a couple of really fun for the band pieces that we just don't play very often. One of them is entitled When Jesus Wept by William Schumann. And those of you who attended the concert last week, we played Chester from William Schumann, which is a pretty well-known piece, and it uses music that Billings wrote about that same time, Revolutionary War music. And Schumann actually wrote a piece called the New England Triptych, using 3 different works, and Chester's probably the most popular. The middle selection is When Jesus Wept, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous lyrical piece that there really isn't an occasion to play that one very often. And I thought, all right, the Declaration is going to finish. We'll finish reading it. What comes next? And it needs to be something solemn, not bright and peppy and fanfare like. And this is from that exact era. And it features a trumpet and euphonium duet, and we've got Kevin Sells and David Lang in the band and doing a wonderful job playing that beautiful duet. So really excited to have William Schumann, not to be confused with Robert Schumann, William Schumann, American composer from the 20th century. So that will immediately follow the reading of the Declaration of Independence. And then there's a kind of a quirky arrangement of Fantasy on Yankee Doodle that Mark Williams wrote. And that's a really cool kind of treatment where we have Yankee Doodle showing up in all sorts of different forms throughout the piece. And then, as luck would have it, we have our Young Artist Competition, one of our runner-up award recipients, Ewan Southwood from Linmar, who's going to play a xylophone solo, and it's actually the Irish Washerwoman, which I thought would play in perfectly. Like, we're going to have this great celebration of American music, and then in the middle, we're going to take a detour to go back to Great Britain for a little bit, but then, we're gonna end up winning in the end. So that's our slight detour away, because I'd already had him booked for that particular week. And then when we come back, we're playing The Variations on America by Charles Ives, which is a piece Ives wrote for the organ when he was, I think 17 or 18 years old. And it's a very quirky arrangement of it. And at the time, as you can imagine, in the late 1800s, very scandalous to, play something like that in church. But William Schumann, again, the composer of When Jesus Wept, New England Triptych, arranged that for orchestra. And that became a standard of orchestral repertoire. And I think if you hear the beginning of that, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I know that one. And it's a difficult piece, but also very fitting. And then I had to pick something popular. So any guesses as to which musical I might have gone to for?
Oh gosh, Night on the Town is the only one I could think about, which is Navy sailors on leave. That's the.
Well, luckily, there was a pretty popular musical written a few years ago about the founding of our country that incorporated like some hip hop and some rap. And I didn't know about it until I asked Claude this week, do you have ideas for anything popular I could play with the band for this particular program? And Claude suggested this musical called Hamilton.
So I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. So anyway, if you have not heard of that, evidently the music is pretty cool. So we're going to play some Hamilton by some guy named Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Will this feature you doing the rap?
There will be no
room where
rapping.
it happens. Yeah.
And interestingly, we played this one a few years ago, and I kind of wondered before we played it, is this going to work without the text, without the lyrics? Because sometimes a piece of music, the melody stands on its own, or the melody and the harmony stands on its own. And sometimes, maybe it was the lyrics alone that really carry it, or the timbre of the singer's voice, or something to that effect. And so it's always interesting when we play popular music in the band to see how it translates. And that one, I was kind of ready for it to maybe be a little bit of a dud, because I love the original so much, and I'm watching it with the closed captioning on, and I think the lyrics are so clever. But the music is quite good. The melodies are, I think it stands on its own. The medley the last time we played it worked. So excited to dust that one off as well.
Back at Kingston Yard for the Wednesday concert.
We're actually going to be at the History Center.
Oh, History Center.
For this
Okay.
one.
All
Yeah,
right.
we thought that would be kind of cool too. And we've had this partnership with the History Center the last few years, and we thought that would be a very appropriate location for this. So History Center on Wednesday.
And then where do I have to come on Sunday?
And then you'll be at Ellis Park in the Shakespeare Garden.
Okay.
So
That's the new venue.
That's
too.
new venue. That's
Yeah.
been working out great. Audience is in the shade the whole time, so that's pretty nice. And it's just gorgeous what they did there. So
They've done a really nice
great
refit
place.
of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if people want to know anything more about the band, the repertoire, get some last-minute weather information, they can visit you online or your Facebook page.
Yeah, Facebook page is by far the best, most up-to-date. We also have a website, crmuniband.org.
All right. Steve, thanks. We'll talk again next week.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.